Globally, women make up more than half of the human capital in any economy, with Nigeria's population estimated to be over 218 million. Women constitute almost half the population, with 49.67%. Women's political representation in Nigeria still falls well below global average, leaving it at 6.7% in elective and appointed positions, as against global average standard of 22.5%, African regional average of 23.4%, and the West African regional average of 15%. Hello and welcome to GREENNOLLTTV Television. My name is Ruth Besson. Today we talk women's representation in Nigeria. We have a Canadian chartered insurance professional who's also a member of the People's Democratic Party Presidential Campaign Council, the Diaspora Directorate, Miss Irene Joe. Hello, Irene, and thank you for coming on this show.
Thank you for having me.
And my co-host today is, as usual, Anne Owobiak.
Thank you for having me, Ruth.
And hey guys, stay with us. We will be right back after the break. Thank you. Okay, so back to Miss Irene. So given the patriarchal societal practice inherent in our society, are there structures your party has put in place to at least bring the Nigerian woman close to the goal of, let's say, 15%?
Thank you very much for that question, Ruth. Yes, there is structures and plans with the PDP's policy. The truth is, I'm going to not base this just based on political parties. However, though, my principal, which is Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, has always been a great supporter of youths and women. And his focus is youths and women, right? It's not anything new. However, I strongly believe that participation in politics and leadership role in Nigeria is going to come from not just political parties, but women as individuals. We need to step up.
Yeah.
We need to step up. We need to create a table if we have not been invited to the table.
Yes.
We need to be intentional about these things, because that's the reason why something like Women Affairs exists, Ministry of Women Affairs. Yeah. I don't think there's a Ministry of Men Affairs, right? No one is going to hand over anything. There's no law, there's nothing in the Constitution that withholds or says a woman cannot do certain things.
Yeah.
So we need to be intentional about this.
Can you tell us a little bit about women's representation in politics so they can flow with us and understand what we are talking about today?
Thank you. And the truth is, there's not a lot of women in politics, not with the ratio of our population.
Yeah.
And representation is powerful. If you have 49%, the population of Nigeria, you have 105 million Nigerians are female and 107 million male.
Yeah.
And we have just less than what percent? 6.7 being represented, right? It's just a cause for, it's very sad. But on the other hand, you have to look at it and say, how many women are truly running for office? How many women are truly even accepting political appointments? You'd be very surprised that there are certain people who have been offered positions but would decline. And we will probably get to that. But again, we can't continue to blame the system, the political structure, or the government, because nobody is stopping the woman from running for office or being a leader in her own right. What I think the problem is, it's a foundational situation from our society that starts from the family.
Yeah.
All right, I was coming to that. I was coming to ask some of the challenges, but given that the Gender Strategy International, Strategy Advancement International, giving to their records, their reports, we have it that women in Nigeria, women's representation falls below in the ranking. It's 181 of 193. That shows you how low it is. Yeah. Now, what are those challenges? Like you mentioned, that even when you offer a woman an appointment, you understand, because we are talking about the elective and the appointive positions here. Right. Even if you're giving a woman an appointment, like you said, they will decline. What are those problems? What are the causes of this?
I'm going to be very honest with you, Anne. Right. I'm going to be honest because I like to be relatable, and I don't want to sugarcoat anything. The problem of Nigeria is Nigerians. Yeah. We are our own problems, not the leaders, because if we get it right, we will be able to hold our leaders accountable. Now, to answer that question, we have a fundamental crisis within our society and our moral beliefs. We work too much on assumptions, and Nigerians, many Nigerians, I'm not going to generalize because I always get called out for generalizing, but I would also include myself in this category. A lot of Nigerians are very quick to criticize, condemn, and just belittle people's efforts, yes, forgetting that there are certain people who are stepping out of their comfort zone to do certain things. And then when they eventually get into position of power, you scrutinize them, you call them names, you say things that never existed. There's only so much that anybody can take. And as women, we're somewhat, we can get emotional. Yes. But I always say that you can't bring emotions into a billion-dollar boardroom. So what do we need to do as women? If you understand your capacity, you know what you have to offer, you know your standards, you just go about doing what you need to do. People will always talk. The reason I say this is because once you run for office or you've had the privilege of being appointed on any capacity, right, there's always that, the eyes will be on you, people will scrutinize you. They don't even care if you've been a successful person from the past, yeah, whatever you've acquired in the past. The moment you are in government, they just think that you're a thief. Yeah. We need to change that narrative. We can't continue to call our leaders and our appointees and people who really are supposed to be serving, we can't continue to call them names. However, though, I would not rule out I'm not saying that some of these people haven't done what they've been accused of, because there's certain women who have been in power and did not exactly represent us well.
Yeah, I think that besides certain women being in power who have not represented us well, we still have the men, who have not represented us well. True. So I would think that, okay, there have been several speculations that, women are constantly or consistently being shortchanged. Women are used for campaigns, used for, so many things, so many things in the process, right, of electing a leader. Right. And then when it comes to core representation, women are shortchanged. And then some people have argued, saying that the Nigerian woman is not ready, or the African woman, or let me just say most, most Nigerian women are not ready for elective positions, So what's your opinion on that?
Well, it's somewhat a fact. The truth is, you have to, when you want to do your analysis, you have to compare numbers. What is the ratio of men who have constantly ran for office? Compare that to the women. I'm just going to be very neutral, because if we're talking about gender equality, then we have to be realistic, and we have to understand that it's not necessarily about favoring the woman. Are women stepping up to run for offices? Are they really interested in leadership position outside of corporate world, right? So if we have a few women who have run for office, they do it once, and then because of the pressure or or threats or whatever the situation is, then they just run back home and then they go back to their business. No, you can't achieve much by just being a coward, for lack of a better word. The truth is, if you want something, if you know that you want to make a change, you have to be consistent. I personally appreciate any candidate who has stayed consistent, because even in your failure, you would learn. And when people continue to see you, they continue to see your resilience and your commitment towards your goal or your ambition, they resonate with you.
Yes, right.
Right?
All right. Still talking about the challenges. Now, we noticed, or we have this other problems, like the stigmatization of women. Right. We have poverty. Right. We have low educational standard of women, as in their level of education. Mm-hmm. We have some meeting schedules. So if you notice, political parties now, not even political parties generally, they tend to schedule their meetings towards, So some of those things, what can you make of those challenges?
Well,
and not forgetting the religious thing.
Limitations
as well. Yeah.
Right.
Is it placed on the woman, or the women places on themselves?
Well, for some religion, there's so much that is expected of the female. Yeah. There's so many don'ts compared to the men. Yeah. Like when you mention, staying out. It might not necessarily be the religion. It could just be more of the morals and something that society has attached to a particular religion. Actually, any religion. So just like you mentioned, so if a man was to stay out very, very late,
because men are used to staying late,
it would be okay.
Well, I would think that that's being sentimental.
Right.
I think that my opinion, or I would think that if a woman is
going for an elective position,
yes, for an elective, giving the same energy as the man, because the aim is to achieve the same thing,
right?
Or even outdo them. We're not in a competition, I beg your pardon, but to give in your best. So I would think that being a woman should not stop your productivity.
Right.
No. See, don't forget, women are okay. If supposedly this person is a married woman, in quote, you understand? Right. Do you think the husband will allow her to leave her home at that odd time of the day for a political meeting?
So the question would not be allow. When you say allow, it's like
because of the patriarchy, the patriarchal destiny.
So I want to even take it away from the woman being the aspirant. Yeah. I want to take it to someone like me. I'm not running for office, but I'm a part of a movement that is going to lead to something great. And I'm expected to do certain things, right? So I'm not running for office, but I have to have late meetings.
Yeah.
I'm having meetings with both men and women, but majority are men, right? This is different. So a woman who is running for office, of course you have to bring your A game. Yeah. Because if we're talking about gender equality, nobody is going to give you an advantage just because you're female. Then it means that you are not equal to the task.
But that's still gender inequality.
Exactly.
Exactly. We've been so boxed up with this idea that gender inequality only refers to the women.
Right.
Or the women are the only ones affected, and so we consistently stereotype ourselves, victimize ourselves, and then look for pity party.
Right.
So I would think that a woman vying for any political office, because issues of the state will require your attention, no time limits.
Right.
So, and you would be expected to deliver. So would you say, because you have a family, because you're married, yes, I understand the patriarchal responsibilities saddled on the woman, but I think that if we consistently not put up a fight, but step out of the box,
Right.
the society would align with us. It's just what I think.
How about the violence aspect? Election in Nigeria is characterized with so much violence. Can you think a woman can match?
Of course. Well, I'll speak for myself.
Okay.
I can run faster than most men. I'm very healthy. I'm very fit.
Oh,
My
yeah.
safety and security is something that I put, it's priority, right? And I'm not even running for anything. I'm just Irene Job who understands her value and understands that she needs to stay protected. And I'm not moving around with any whatever. ADCs and all of that. I just know. I know when I need to take the back door. I know when I need to go through a small hole, right? I know when I need to act. I know when I can't wear heels, right? You have to come correct. Nobody is going to hand anything to anybody. Nobody, not women, not youths. I don't want us to keep thinking that we need to be babysat. Women are powerful.
Weaker vessel, you know, they tend to like women at the weaker vessel.
No, we're not. We're actually stronger. Mentally, emotionally, intellectually. I dare to say even physically these days. I mean, some women can, I don't want to go violent, but some women can beat up men.
Yes,
you know, so
Like
I don't need anybody to make me feel small. You can't make me feel small. I know who I am. I know what I represent. I know my strength. I've never asked for a seat on the table. I have been invited. However, I have created my own tables and people just see it and recognize that.
Okay, so Miss Irene, so there are lots of candidates, you know, contesting for presidency and all. So what informed your choice of candidacy?
That's a very, very nice and tricky question, you know. The truth is, my decision on this particular election is based on facts, and I'm a very realistic person. And although I'm familiar with the PDP presidential candidates, however, I'm not basing my decision on sentiments, which is one thing that it's not in my, I don't do it. I don't do sentiments. A lot of people have a problem with that, but not this girl. So my decision is based on facts, based on delivery, and based on preparation. The truth is, this country, not to instigate anything, but this country is under attack. Our democracy is under attack.
Right.
We might not see it coming, but our democracy is under attack.
What do you mean?
I mean this because if you look at what is happening in the APC, right? With both, APC is the sitting government, but look at what is happening with their presidential candidates and our current president. Meaning that if they can't even coexist and do things the right way, who are they representing?
Yeah.
Again, not to instigate anything, but go out there and see what is happening. Nigeria cannot afford another 2 days of APC after Buhari's administration. And I understand how powerful, maybe I'm giving them too much power, but the truth is, the APC presidential candidate is actually a very powerful and influential person.
Right.
He has the resources, and he can do a lot of damage to this country if we're not careful. Because why? He is desperate for this thing. He's desperate for it.
Your candidate is not after contesting like how many times now?
You know what is so funny is I appreciate my candidate for his consistency and resilience. I would have actually I wouldn't consider someone the APC candidate because of obvious reasons. The office of the president is very challenging. And the Nigeria that the new president is going to inherit is one that needs, I can't even keep up with my own candidate. The man is up and about. I told you how I just been around, I had a few stuff and I'm just like tired. I'm how old? I'm like 35. This man is up, this man is ready. He has been ready for the longest time, right? Outside of records, public records that discredits the APC candidate with his involvement in the US and all of that. This is public record. So this is not a false accusation or propaganda. This is facts. I go based on facts. I don't accuse people wrongly, but in a sane society, Ahmed Bola Tinubu should not even be running for the office of the president.
Why so?
Because he has public records that indict him.
Which your candidate also has.
You have public records of that? There's no...
It's there in the,
no.
It's everywhere.
No. Those are rumors. He has not been indicted. There is no official case with him and any country, any government, not even in Nigeria.
Okay, Ms. Irene, can you tell us a little bit of what you people in the diaspora, the PDP, PCC in diaspora are doing? What are they really?
That's a great question. So the PDP, PCC Diaspora Directorate led by Professor Isa Odidi, and that's a name that you really want to go check out. That's a Nigerian that people are going to be very proud of and want to associate with. Yes, he's been the director of Directorate for, I think, last election and this one.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yes, so in 2019 and this particular election, and the vision is typically to connect Nigerians around the world, because I don't think that Nigerians realize how many Nigerians are outside of this country. And the beauty of that is, when you go outside of this country, you live in a society that has a structure, and you understand the structure that makes them successful. You want to export that back home to try to contribute to this country, which is exactly my story. I've recently relocated back to Nigeria after 10 years.
That's good.
It was intentional. I knew that going to Canada was for me to go understand why this country is such an amazing country, so I can come back here and contribute. Professor Odidi also happens to be Canadian. And I don't want to go into details, but if you Google that man's name, you will be proud. And he's a good friend of someone like Atiku. Like, they've known each other for a long time. And what we did was raise funds for the both the directorate. Everything we did, we had an event on Friday. We didn't ask the PDP. We didn't ask the PDP for any money. We've been doing stuff. We have our own sub-commissions for like fundraising, communications, oversight, young professionals, a whole lot of that. And just having a hub where you have Nigerians from all around the world. And don't forget that in the nearest future, Nigerians outside of Nigeria, basically Nigerians in diaspora, will have the privilege to vote. And that's when the game, that's when the real game will begin, because these people are not voting based on take bag of rice and all of that. They're voting for a candidate they believe in and governance according to their record and their manifesto. So it's been a pleasure and a privilege to serve the Diaspora Directorates in the 2023 elections, and my prayer and my hope is that we will be victorious in the upcoming election.
Just tell our viewers what they are to expect. Sorry, they are expecting from your candidate, and your last word. Just give them your last.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure and a privilege. I'm going to close with this. My candidate is a man of capacity, and I am certain, by God's grace also, that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is going to be the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Yes, and I want you to quote me on this when that happens.
Position of women.
Right, exactly. And this is a man that, I don't want to call names, but the time when Okonjo-Iweala moved back here, that was Atiku. I hope you know that. He is the one that had that conversation and brought that lady back to Nigeria. This is just to name a few. And this is not about politics. This is who the man is. He has empowered a lot of women. He has empowered a lot of young people. This is a man that truly is going to help Nigerians to transition to a younger generation when it comes to that office of the presidency.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much, Miss Irene. It's such a pleasure to have you. And I'm sure we would come back come 2023. We are in 2023 already.
We're in 2023, a few days from now.
Yes.
Yeah, a few days. That's when the election is not being postponed because...
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Rumor.
So we would like to have this conversation, the progressive part of this conversation, sometime soon. Right. So thank you, Miss Irene, and thank you, my co-host, Anne. It's such a pleasure to sit here and have that discussion. And then we are women too, so it's a beautiful thing that we have women who are interested in the growth of this country without sentiments. And my final words to Nigerians, as the elections approaches, where are the women? I'm sure I can see you, and we hope you have your PVC. Go out there and vote your conscience. Thank you for staying with us on GREENNOLLTTV television today. We would be right back soon. Have a nice day. Thank you.